I'm going to show you, they weren't thankful to God. Their attitude was just like Shane. He didn't feel like he needed to be there. He was disrespectful. He thought everybody was below him, and he thought it was all about him. Y'all remember that line in Camp Rock where the instructor comes up to him and he says, "You think it's all about you." And what did he say? In my world, he said, in my world, it is all about him. I wanted to smack him, and I wanted to rip his unibrow off. Complaining, moping, disrespect, anger, dislike of situations shouldn't affect our attitude and our thankfulness of God. It shouldn't. And here's why. My point number 2. Because we don't remember what God has done for us in our past. How many people have been through something in their life, a bad situation? How many people have ever been through a bad situation? How many people have ever been in a bad situation, but you knew that God had kind of helped you out in this situation? How come when something else happens to us, we forget what God had already done in the first place? We always forget. You know why? Because it causes so much pain right now. You're like, Lord, if you are really out there, wait, didn't he help out the first time? Lord, I've actually said this. Jesus, if you exist, dummy, you're a pastor. God, if you're really out there, if you can hear my voice, Father, Jesus, help me. I forget. God has already brought me through before. Why am I worried right now? We forget. Exodus 14:10 through 12. I'm going to read the Message version. We're still talking about the children of Israel. Thankfulness is an attitude. That's number 1. Number 2, remember not to forget what God has done. Watch this. Children of Israel. This is the Message version. As Pharaoh approached, the Israelites looked up and saw them, Egyptians, coming at them. They were totally afraid. They cried out in terror to God. They told Moses, okay, this is the children of Israel. Moses is the leader. And here's what the children say. Here's what the people say. Weren't the cemeteries large enough in Egypt so that you had to take us out of here in the wilderness to die? What have you done to us? Taken us out of Egypt. Back in Egypt, didn't we tell you this would happen? Didn't we tell you? Leave us alone here in Egypt. We're better off as slaves in Egypt than corpses out here in the wilderness. The children of Israel were being chased by the Egyptians. They were about to kill them. They're about to cross over. Moses is like, man, all these people are against me. You know what? They forgot that God helped them in the past. Has anybody ever done that? Has anybody ever been through a hard situation and you forget what God has already saved you from? Come on, raise your hands. Somebody be honest in here. Somebody be truthful. We forget what God has done. So number 1, thankfulness is an attitude. 2, we don't forget what God has done for you. And number 3, here it is. Be satisfied. Number 3, did y'all? Chris, what are you doing?
Meat and chips.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
I'm trying to speak here to these to the children.
They're good. You want one?
No, I don't want a chip.
Oh.
Don't you see? Look at my button. It already popped off from all the stuffing.
It's back there. I was
Chris,
in the room.
what in the world?
Hit me in the eye, right there.
Chris, what are you doing eating Pringles right now in the middle of me speaking?
They're good.
And
I'm satisfied with these chips.
if you're satisfied with the chips, you've already eaten 5 of them. Aren't you done?
No. I got a whole bunch more.
You're not satisfied. You can't eat just one. Get off the stage before I beat you to death. Get off the stage. Okay. Now, obviously, I planned that. I planned for Chris to come up and drip chips all over the place. Okay. How many have ever had a chip? Question. Who's ever had just one chip? You're lying. You're not telling the truth. Unless you asked a friend one time in school and said, hey, man, can I have some chips? And he gave you one. Yep, you sure can. Here's one chip. What's the old saying about the chip? You can't eat just one. You know why? Because you're not satisfied. And they put so much junk in those chips that tastes good when you first put it in. Because in those Pringles, you ever had a Pringle? You ever bitten into it? And you feel like the salt and the grease just get squeezed right into your body and this area. You feel like that nastiness, man. You ever had one of those? It's just like, it tastes so good. And you just can't have one. And little do we know, and we've been talking about this, but we just want more. We want more. We want more. In America, that's how we do it. No, not yeah. That's how we do it. Guys, we're consumers. That's all we do is consume. Consume. More. We got to have more. Why do we want more? We're not satisfied. Pastor Robert talked about this morning. Guys, we're not satisfied. We never get satisfied. When are we going to be satisfied? You know what? When we have a real revelation of who God is in our life. Watch this. I'm going to prove to you that as a people, we're not satisfied. I'm going to read a terrible story, okay? You ready? This is not very encouraging here on Thanksgiving weekend, but I got to read it because it touched me. It touched my heart, and it hurt my feelings to know that we as a people, we did this. We have this mind state. Watch this. New York police are reviewing video from surveillance cameras in attempt to identify shoppers who trampled to death a Walmart worker after they ripped off the doors and burst into the store in pursuit of reduced items. Police say the shoppers physically broke down the doors to get inside the store yesterday at around 5 a.m. A 34-year-old man of Queens died during a stampede of around 2,000 people at the store in Valley Stream, Long Island. Other workers were trampled as they tried to rescue him. The customer stepped over the dead man and became angry when he told the store would be closing because of his death. Police say a pregnant woman was taken to a hospital for observation. Walmart said the incident was unfortunate. Ladies and gentlemen, that's not an unfortunate accident. That's terrible. And they were going to Walmart. Guys, why in America do we get satisfied with junk? Now, I'm not dogging out Walmart, but we all know some of their stuff breaks. Some of their stuff breaks down. Everything breaks down. Everything we buy is temporary. The car that you drove in over here, that's temporary. The stuff, your iPod, temporary. Your clothes, temporary. Everything